everybody? Hope you guys had a good weekend. All right, just going to jump right into this. It's 2 o'clock Eastern time now, so yeah, start having a look at some higher time frame stuff. Let's go quickly. All right, so yeah, you can see, yeah, kind of what we were talking about last week. Essentially, we were looking at potential short-term pullback plays in here, and that's kind of what ended up happening, I think, in this region. And then we just kind of blasted right through the week low, right, in terms of the weekly low, which is this guy right here. And yeah, we're just getting into like the origin of this sort of higher time frame correction. I believe there's like a huge impulse here. Yeah, you can just see that. We could potentially be starting a larger pullback phase off of sort of like the extremity down in here. Now, let's see. Yeah, there's your daily demand. We've got all the characteristics of a half decent POI. Break of structure right here, V-shaped recovery, all that kind of fun stuff. And now one of the main contributing factors for me expecting some form of a pullback is that we've essentially taken out this piece of structure right here, right? Like the weekly or the, whatever you want to call it. I guess this would be the weekly low. So the next reasonable expectation in the market is to see some form of pullback. Now, whether or not it happens here, whether it comes deeper into the POI, obviously this is what we utilize our lower time frame from, or for rather. And right now, as it sits, it's going to depend on how things start to develop on the market open and going into probably Monday to see what the next move is. But one of the major things that I've really noticed is obviously this larger structure shift in terms of the 15-minute. Now we've come up into basically just like a random piece of supply. It doesn't really break anything to the left, but it's basically offering the same thing that this daily demand is down here. Is now we've sort of breached a structure point to the upside, obviously on a lower time frame. But the idea is that the expectation would be that there should be a pullback of some sort, right? And provided that excuse me, provided that we don't take out any form of structure, which in my opinion is technically the 15-minute low, 15-minute high. The idea for me, at least, is that, order flow just needs to realign. And I think that, again, depending on how you view things, we have this little inside bar here that could have maybe solidified our change of character to the upside. I'm going to say that right now we are, we're back aligned with bullish order flow and structure. Personally, I see good for the Friday buy. Are you targeting the 15-minute high with full volume? Yeah, for sure I am, at least. I'm going to be targeting something like this. But yeah, just talking again, just about the higher time frame and just kind of maneuvering around in the time frames. You can see that we've had a 4-hour change of character as well. It's only a wick break, but you can see how insignificant this wick is, right? So, like I said, for me personally, it's kind of basically just going to be sitting here, looking at what the time frames are trying to do and whether or not they're actually going to try to start pulling up. Like I said, what's happened on the higher time frame as well, getting out into the daily, is that because we've broken that low, I am expecting to see some form of half decent pullback, right? And the most recent break of structure for me is sitting here like this. So the structural leg that we're in terms of the daily is basically from here to here. So playing a pullback at this point, I think is very, very reasonable. So this is pretty short and sweet for today. Like I said, I've I'm not going to be fighting the way that the money is going on the 15-minute, especially when we're correlated with the higher time frame. Can you look for sells if and when they present themselves? Absolutely. But right now, to be completely honest with you, the only way that I could personally look to take sells would be if we made some form of a new low, right? Otherwise, yeah, as long as this low right here remains intact, ultimately structure has not been breached. So does everybody follow along with what I'm saying, and essentially understand that at least for me right now, longs are the favorable sort of choice, just based on the fact that structure and order flow is aligned in our favor after mitigating and sweeping into higher time frame demand. You see that the current potential higher low on the 15 is weak since it technically failed to break swing structure. This one right here. So right now, I mean, it's hard to say. Like technically we have a week and a week, right? But like expectational order flow is kind of what I'm basing this off of, right? We're moving up. This is just a pullback, probably reaction to supply, right? That was created once we changed character. So yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, a lot of people may view this as weak. Personally, I'm seeing this as an area of liquidity to sort of take into the deeper section of this POI to then be able to keep moving forward, right? Like technically, either of them could be weak based on the fact that we've broken excuse me, through supply already. But you can just see that, like, I mean, this supply zone didn't break anything relevant, right? It didn't change structure. Yeah, it shifted order flow temporarily, but as soon as we got back down into a structural level, we've realigned, right? So for me, the direction of money is going here. Now, could we break this and come down into here? Anything is possible, right? So nobody knows for certain. I would say that, you know, with the right confirmations, you know, here's the low, here's the high, here's the low, here's the high. And ultimately the low that's playing in is right here. We may end up liquidating this to give people the idea that this has now been a change of character, which would essentially get a lot of people trading up here, which there would be more volume here. You have to remember the nature of what's just happened and how much liquidity was just taken coming down into these lows, taking out the daily as well as the weekly lows, all that kind of fun stuff. So, I mean, to answer your question in short, technically, you could view it as both weak areas. For me personally, I would say that this level down here is stronger than this level, based on the fact that this supply level could not take out anything significant, and all this is doing is basically realigning to be able to move forward. The name of the game for me is to get into pro trend moves, take risk off, and let the higher time frame do the work, and not about what trade is right or wrong. Exactly. Just it's amazing. Just follow your trade plan, and ultimately, you know, it's really simple. Actually, pro trend moves are so easy to get involved in, and you know, yesterday or whatever it was on Friday, same thing. The trend was intact from here, right, from a structural level. Right now, it's basically intact from this low. Like we could easily come all the way down here, liquidate this stuff, and then rock it through and create equals to run, right? But right now, order flow is bullish on our lower time frame, of course. Is trading that internal level something you would be interested in, or wait for either the high or the low to go before getting involved? I would still play in here with the right confirmations, of course. I have no issues doing that. I mean, like I said, the narrative that I have, and reasonably so, is that this high is going to get taken out before the low does, right? So if that's the case, yeah, don't be scared to get involved with the right confirmations, of course, right? It's just ultimately, you know, order flow switch. We've basically had our 15-minute chalk now, is what we can call this. Once the chalk has happened, where do we chalk from, right? Well, we chalked from the low. So are we going to induce this to come further down in and then be able to rock it up, right? So yeah, I would 100% look for some form of whether it be a scale in or just maybe like a re-entry in this region. I would have no issues doing that. Yeah, remove the counter trend stuff, man. I mean, this is a good counter trend play. This is basically a textbook counter trend play when we mitigate a supply and basically have this bigger pullback into what our expectational order flow structure point. Oh my God, what am I trying to say here? You get what I'm saying, though. But yeah, the bottom line is stay aligned with what the money's doing, right? We don't want to guess what the market's doing. We just want to essentially follow it, right? And there's footprints everywhere. This big wick here, this huge push through. This is a huge accumulation of orders. This will probably turn into a larger accumulation schematic at some point for a deeper pullback. So yeah, I would say personally, and again, like this thing, like there's other options here too, and I don't want to like weigh them out. That like we could easily blow right through this, right? And if and when we do, then we can reevaluate what the next move is, and that's obviously what the narratives are for. But as it stands right now, if I was looking at this chart, mitigating higher time frame demand, structure shift, mitigate supply fails to take out the structure point that put us in there, we get a change of character to come up, create liquidity for us to target. I think it would be really, really unreasonable to weigh out a bullish, I don't want to say the word bias, but a bullish sort of sentiment in the market. So hopefully that's easily understood, guys. Like I said, more than interested to get involved at any of these levels, provided I get the lower time frame confirmations. I'll probably be monitoring a little bit tonight to potentially get in. And then in terms of targets and stuff like that, it's going to greatly depend on, just kind of how we deliver too, right? You have to remember, like if we come up to, X, Y, Z, POY, the idea is that once we actually hit it and we start to pull back, usually that's going to come in the form of a change of character. We'll come back up. I will partial back out at this level, just given the fact that we could expect a pullback phase. And if I was still trading the counter trend model, I would look for a hedge position in here to hedge against my larger pullback position, because you have to remember, what is the expectation here? Is the expectation to just drop through this low? No, we're going to have unmitigated demand levels along the way. And every time we mitigate supply on the way up, we create liquidity, but only if we fail to take out relevant structure points, because ultimately, if demand is in control of the market, that's where it gets in control from, is from that structural level, which creates the weak high on the expectational order flow front. Everybody with me? Give me a 1 if this is helpful. 2 if you have a question. Should be pretty straightforward. And I don't want questions about specific trades or anything like that. This is pertaining to just our higher time frame narrative and looking into, trades for this week. So like I said, I would not say that I have a bias by any means, but if the lower time frame confirmations present themselves on this chart, you can bet your ass that I would look at these internal structural points, or sorry, these internal supply, demand points to be able to take this into EOF highs. Cool. Anybody who is veering towards getting confident enough to take a challenge, I can tell you something right now. Just the way that this is developing and how easy this price action seems to be to follow, I don't want to entice anybody into the market too much. These are the trades we're after. You know what I mean? Like these are really, take that for what it is. And if it resonates with you, great. If you're just not at the level yet, like this one trade is not going to define you as a trader either. But the only thing I'm saying here is that there's going to be a couple nice, really easy trades to get yourself into with some pretty high RR, depending on how well you can stomach holding trades for a day or two. So just FYI, I'm just going to put that out there. And you do not need to be risking 0.5% per trade. With these higher risk reward trades, you can risk 0.25%, let the fucking thing run, partial out at X amount of R. We'll talk about that this week a little bit more in detail. Cool. That's it for me. Everybody okay with this? In terms of the narrative for going into this week, I think that reasonably, I honestly think that buys are going to be in order. So yeah, we'll have to just play it by ear, right? We just react to the market, but yeah, definitely think that with the right confirmations, I'd be looking to scale into something here. Bank holiday in the UK tomorrow. I'll still be live with you guys anyways. Just in the morning, we'll have a look. And if there's no trades or anything like that, just because we're on low volume for whatever reason, we'll play it by ear, but we'll do the Q&A for for trades taken and whether or not there were any, et cetera, et cetera. NFP week, yeah, there'll be some movement. See how strategically placed this is too for NFP. It's interesting. Getting set up. It's this week. It's I think is what he's saying. Cool. I'm out of here. Gonna be chilling out for the rest of the day. I will release the charts right after this. They're already saved, ready to rock. I just got to post the interactive URL, so just have a look for that in a few minutes, and I'll get this uploaded later on this evening for anybody who wasn't around. So happy Sunday, everybody. Yeah, enjoy your last day off, and we'll see you guys early this week. See you tomorrow around 5:10 Eastern time. Take care, guys.